Okay, good morning everyone. For week 6, I decided to record our lesson, especially for those who are not able to attend our online discussion yesterday. So, for our most essential learning competencies, explain how fossil records, comparative anatomy, and genetic information provide evidence for evolution. The other one, explain the occurrence of evolution. Now, if you're going to consult your learner's material, you'll find some of the interesting concepts about evolution. So, when you talk about evolution, it pertains to changes in the organism as time goes by. So, there are four sources of evidence for evolution. Number one, evidence from fossil records. 2. Anatomical structures. 3. Embryonic development. And 4. Biochemical analysis and amino acid sequence. So let's talk about evidence from fossil records. So fossil pertains to fossils are the preserved remains or traces of animals, plants, and other organisms from the past. They are important evidence for evolution because they show that life on Earth was once different from life found on Earth today. So most of them are found in sedimentary rocks or those rocks that are made up of pebbles, small stones, and um, the shells which are cemented and most of the time the fossils are found in this kind of rocks. So I took portion from your book. It says here, have you ever seen fossils of any organism? Fossils are examples of evidences that paleontologists use in studying evolution. So by the way, paleontologist is a person who studies fossils. So fossils are traces of organisms that lived in the past and were preserved by natural process or catastrophic events. They can be remains of organisms which include bones, shells, teeth, and also feces embedded in rocks, peat, resin, and ice. So these are some of the examples of fossil records. You can consult your book for more information about this. Another evidence is anatomical structure. So when we talk about anatomy, it deals with the internal part of the organism. So in this case, the bone structures are being studied and being compared to determine any similarities in functions and perhaps a relationship of the organism or having common ancestry. Okay, so we'll discuss about anatomical structures later regarding homologous and analogous. Next is embryonic development. From the picture you can see there are 6 organisms from fish to human, and there are 3 stages for embryonic development of these vertebrates or these organisms having backbones. So you will notice that in stage 1, most of the organisms have tails. So all of them have tails and have gill slits. So they are very similar during stage 1. But as the organisms um, proceed or advances or being developed from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3, you can notice the differences in the appearance and in specifically in the tail. For stage 3, you can notice that some organisms have lost tails as compared to stage 1. Okay, the next one is biochemical analysis and amino acid sequence. So here, there are numbers from 87 to 116. So that's where the location of the specific amino acid for each organism. For instance, from human to kangaroo. So if we are going to closely check the amino acid from 87 to 116 for it for human and chimpanzee, let's clearly examine if there are differences in the amino acids. So I think um, the two organisms have the same amino acid. There is zero differences in the amino acid sequence. Now, if we will check the human and the kangaroo, can notice that there are differences from 87, number 87. Okay, so human and kangaroo, please check with me. Okay, next is in number 104. And then 109, 110, 112, 113, 116. So if we will count on the differences, it means that the human and the kangaroo are not related, or they do not have the same ancestor. Unlike when we have human and chimpanzee, zero difference would suggest that according to evolution, they are from a common ancestor. So this is the task we did a while ago, determining the amino acid for human is given. For chimpanzee, you need to just write and then count on the differences of the uh, amino acid for human and chimpanzee. Okay, so let's discuss the anatomical structures. Comparative anatomy possesses two main ideas or concepts. These are homologous structures and analogous structures. So what is homologous structures? It means similarities in the body structures of different species. These may have come from common ancestors. These structures do not have necessarily the same function, having the same functions. In the example that we could have here, the forelimbs of human and cat, they have different functions, but they have similar skeletal structure. The forelimbs of whales and bats have also different functions, but they have similar bone structures. So these similarities may have been caused by their common ancestry. So here in homologous structures, just remember that the organism have similar skeletal or bone structure, but they have different functions. So for examples, whale's flipper, cat's leg, bat's wing, human's arm. So the human's arm and the bat's wing, they have different function, but looking at the bone structure, they have similarity. So that is homologous structures. Now, when we talk about analogous structures, like a bird's wing, the bat's wing, they have the same function, but these are for adaptation purposes. It doesn't mean that they came from a common ancestor. So that is homologous structures. The same function, but that is for adaptation purposes because they need that in order to survive. But it doesn't mean that they have the same as ancestor, not a descent from, they are not descendants of from a common ancestor. Now, for your learning task 1, homologous or analogous, we are provided by 5 pictures. You just write H if the structure shown are homologous and write A if the structures shown are analogous. And then for your learning task number 2, you are going to write a short yet substantial essay proving the occurrence of evolution based on the presented evidences of evolution and the theories of evolution. For more readings, please refer to your science learners material, pages 302 to 318. Now, for your essay, you will be marked or graded based on the following criteria. Contents 15, quality of writing is 10, grammar and tenses 5, total points 30 points. Now, if you have any question, clarification, or doubts, you can send a message through our group chats, or you can send personal messages, and I will make sure to attend to your concerns. So thank you very much for listening, and hopefully, you're able to finish your task for weeks 5 and 6. And please tune in for week 7 and 8, the last week for the last weeks for quarter 3. So thank you very much and God bless. Keep safe everyone.